The terminology placental and non-placental mammals can be rephrased for the purpose of simplicity to just mammals and marsupials. Eutherian mammals are those which most people think of when thinking of mammals, and they are also the most common. Eutherian mammals include dogs, dolphins, elephants, and even humans. They have much longer gestation periods, give birth to live young, along with a slew of other characteristics. Marsupial mammals, or non-placental mammals, on the other hand, are more uncommon and geographically appear in limited places. Marsupial mammals have pouches for their young because, unlike eutherian mammals, marsupials have short gestation periods. Live young are birthed and then harbored in the pouch to obtain nutrients. Although they both fall under the category mammal, there are many differences that separate these two categories of animal, making them different enough to examine. There are a few fundamental differences that separate marsupials from the eutherian mammal class. For one, all marsupials have pouches for their young. This is the easiest and most surefire way to identify a marsupial mammal. The other fundamental differences are all related to one another. They are the placenta, the gestation period, and the state of birth. The type of placenta in marsupials is what is called a yolk sac. The extent of the developing young's nutrients exists within this yolk sac, and this is why marsupials have such short gestation periods, the next fundamental difference. Since no nutrients can be transferred to the developing egg yolk once the yolk sac runs out, the young must come out of the egg. This is where the third fundamental difference, the state of birth, comes into play. When marsupial young are born, they are underdeveloped, small, and weak. They spend the vast majority of their rearing in the pouch, where their mother's milk provides energy and nutrients. The marsupial pouch is the center of almost all fundamental differences found between placental and non-placental mammals. The marsupial pouch provides the necessary protection the underdeveloped young needs from the environment, as well as the nutrients the young needs to develop properly, making the pouch the single most important characteristic for marsupial females to possess. The marsupial young go through 4 stages of development, some of which have counterparts in eutherian mammal developments. The first stage is intrauterine development, where the young develops in the yolk sac inside the mother's uterus. After a short gestation period, the young is birthed and is now in stage 2, or free existence after birth. This is a short stage, only a few minutes long, where it is the newly birthed young's job to locate and travel to the pouch. There is no counterpart to this stage in eutherian development, and there is no pouch, as there is no pouch. The next stage is the longest, and that is the development of the young in the pouch. The pouch of the mother provides protection to the young. Inside the pouch, immunoglobulin is transferred via milk to the young to help develop the immune system, while the pouch itself protects the young from germs and disease. The young will spend months in the pouch, sometimes exceeding a year, developing and growing. Finally, stage 4, or independence of the pouch. This is not the stage where marsupials become adults. However, it is the fourth and last stage of development where the young exist outside of the pouch but still relies on milk from its mother. The next difference between marsupial and non-marsupial mammals causes a large evolutionary disparity that likely is the reason for less variation amongst marsupial species. The carnassial tooth placement, movement, and development is at the center of these evolutionary differences. In eutherian mammals, the carnassial tooth erupts in its permanent spot, with the deciduous carnassial coming before it. Because of this, the molars behind the carnassial tooth are able to evolve and change to fit a more specialized function for that species. In marsupial mammals, all new teeth are formed as carnassial tooth and push all preceding teeth forward in the jaw. This means that marsupial teeth are not free to evolve to fit specialized function, therefore keeping the marsupial class of animals relatively small in terms of their number of species, as well as maintaining similar physical size, diets, and more. The reproductive and anatomy systems of non-placental mammals is another thing that separates them from the eutherian class. The egg size of marsupial mammals is smaller than that of eutherian mammals. The placenta of marsupial mammals also differs greatly in that it really is not even a placenta at all. In eutherian mammals, the young is connected to the mother in the uterus and receives blood from the mother, which is how the young develops. Marsupials have what is called a yolk sac, meaning the young is not connected straight to the mother for nutrients, but rather obtains nutrients from the egg. As previously talked about, this is the reason for the short gestation periods observed in marsupials. The vaginal complex seen in marsupials also differs, because the uterus maintains a medial spot in relation to the Wolffian ducts, whereas the uterus, along with other things, in eutherian mammals is shifted greatly during pregnancy. Marsupial reproductive organs are also different, with males showcasing bifid penises, or double penises, and females having multiple vaginal canals. The most obvious anatomical difference between the two classes being the pouch, as the eutherian mammals do not have them. Differences between the gestation and rearing of the two classes of mammals is the final difference that will be examined. Having briefly gone over differences in gestation already, the main focus will be differences in rearing. As mentioned numerous times, the gestation of marsupials is very short, being measured in days most of the time. Due to this, there are a significant number of rearing differences. Marsupial young are born incredibly small in comparison to the full-sized adult, in some cases up to 1/33,000th of the full-grown adult. For this reason, a number of things are true about newly born marsupial young. They have underdeveloped organs, including the heart and lungs, as well as being born both naked and blind. One adaptation marsupials have obtained, though, is being born with underdeveloped front paws that assist them in grabbing fur, which is how the young make it from their mother's pouch. Once the young latches onto the teat in the pouch, the teat swells in the young's mouth to make somewhat of a permanent connection for the time being. The young eventually leaves the pouch at approximately the same size as the birth size of a placental mammal of similar size. One interesting difference is that the composition of a mother's milk changes as development continues, being high in protein and low in fat at the beginning for help developing a strong structure, and low in protein and high in fat at the end for rapid gain in mass.